Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, just to let me down and mess me around in the worst of all.
What is going on, guys? I am back with another review of the day at an amusement park, and this time I will be discussing August 7th, 2020, which was this past Friday at Dorney Park, and it was an eventful yet disappointing day, and I'm going to get to why in this video. And so anyways, let's just get started. So when Evie and I first got to the park, we went through the temperature screenings and entered the park like normal. And when we entered, we saw that there was nobody there. It was amazing. The sky really drew people away. In fact, there was nobody even at Amore Pizza when we got to it when we first entered. Like, my gosh. So we ate at Amore Pizza like we'd been planning all this time. And like I said, there was no one there, and it was a very successful meal, and we were able to order right away without having to worry about like a big family getting their meal and having to wait for them. And so anyways, after that meal at Amore Pizza, we headed to Talon, which was our first ride of the day. That's been unusual for us, so I liked it. And plus, it was a good ride for me, especially because I went barefoot on it, and I hadn't ridden Talon barefoot since August 9th, 2014. And plus, we got a front row ride on Talon, which was even luckier. And I love a front row ride on Talon. It's good. And so anyways, after that really good ride on Talon we headed to Dodgem, and that was a really good ride on that. And so anyways, after Dodgem we headed to Wave Swinger. And so anyways, that was a really good ride on Wave Swinger. So after Wave Swinger, we headed to Thunder Canyon, where we always get decently soaked on it, and that was a really good cloudy ride on Thunder Canyon. And so anyways, after Thunder Canyon we headed for Hydra, and that was a really good ride on it, and we got the front row on it like we did with Talon too. And so we got two front row rides. We got front row rides on both B&Ms today, which was absolutely lit. And so anyways, after we rode Hydra, we rode Dominator Red, where I once again rode it barefoot, and it felt so good to ride it barefoot. And so anyways, after we rode Dominator Red, we headed to the relaxation zone by where Possessed is to get some water, and then we headed to Cedar Creek Flyers, where there was this funny group of people on Cedar Creek Flyers. You probably heard them in my park footage making antics. And when we went to get our first, when we got our first Cedar Creek Flyers video of the season, those guys were making antics in it, which was absolutely funny. And after the ride op slowed the ride down, that was that group of people's second re-ride on it without getting off. And so anyways, after the ride op slowed it down, he let them take a re-ride on it, and also he had us join them for their third re-ride, which was absolutely lit and funny. And that was the most littest ride on Cedar Creek Flyers I had ever had. And so anyways, after that ride on Cedar Creek Flyers, we saw construction going on behind Urgent Scare for something big, and we observed Olive's stinger spot for like soiling, for like mulching and stuff, and there were definitely signs of early prep work for the new coaster that's supposed to come in 2021, so that got me excited. And so anyways, after that exciting moment, we headed for Steel Force, which was a really good ride on it. I was singing Table of Plenty on it to honor the baptism of one of my favorite YouTubers, and I got some really good airtime in on it. And so anyways, after we rode Steel Force, we rode Revolution, where I once again rode it barefoot. And get this, I knew this was gonna happen too. When I first put my bag at the part of Revolution where you secure your stuff, right? I put my bag there, right? And then I start taking off my shoes and socks because I intend on riding it barefoot, right? And the employee catches me, and he literally thinks that I am afraid that if I wear my sneakers and socks, they'll fall off. And he was like, you can keep your sneakers and socks on, right? and then I was like to him, no, I'm just trying to lift to set the mood, and he was like, okay. So shout out goes to that employee for his understanding of why I was earthing on Revolution. And so anyways, that wasn't a good ride cycle on Revolution because it was short, and because we weren't at the high side, because the high side is where you get the really good moments and stuff. And so anyways, after that ride on Revolution, we headed to Thunderhawk, and which was another really good ride on it because we got the front row again. It was amazing. Oh my gosh, this was our sixth time getting a front row ride on Thunderhawk. We've had 6 visits together this season, and that all of them so far, we've gotten a front row ride on Thunderhawk. Like, it is amazing and unbelievable. And so, anyways, after that front row ride on Thunderhawk, we headed for Demon Drop, where we got to rewrite it twice without getting off, which was absolutely lit. And the guy, a ride op asked us if we would like a second ride on it. And we were like, yeah, because we were trying to take advantage. And at the second ride, there was this GP woman who came on the ride and like literally was like too scared to ride. So like she eventually ended up getting off the ride because she was that scared, and she really held up the second ride. And so anyways, after those 2 re-rides on Demon Drop, we headed for Thunder Creek Mountain, which is always a good ride on that. We did the Log Flume song once again. And so anyways, after that ride on Thunder Creek Mountain, we headed for the Tilt-A-Whirl, which was a really good ride in on that. And then after Tilt-A-Whirl, we headed for Music Express, and that was a really good ride on it. And we saw Anthony on the midway where Music Express is walking somewhere while it's riding it, and I was like, Anthony! And so, anyways, after Music Express, we headed to Apollo, and that was a really good ride in on that. And some crazy signs were happening that the sky was getting darker. Like, some crazy signs started showing because Apollo's lights literally freaking came on. Like, I haven't seen Apollo's lights come on this season because the park closes at 7. And that to me was like a serious sign that like a big storm was coming. And so anyways, that was a really good ride on Apollo in general. And so anyways, after that ride on Apollo, we headed to Dominator Green because we thought Anthony had gone there, and we headed there to surprise him, only to find out that I wasn't there. And anyways, that was a good ride on Dominator Green, and once again I rode Dominator Green barefoot, and it was like really fun, and I really had fun going barefoot on the rides today. And so anyways, after Dominator Green, we headed to Sea Dragon, which little did we know ended up being our last ride of the day because Dorney closed early due to rain. And it started raining when we were on Dominator Green, but then it got worse while we were on Sea Dragon, and which ended up for a rainy ride on Sea Dragon. And so anyways, after that ride on Sea Dragon, we were going to ride Enterprise, but that was closed due to rain. And then we were going to ride Ferris Wheel, but that was closed. And then we headed for a re-ride in on Hydra because I had missed out on my opportunity to ride it barefoot because there was like a bunch of employees around the locker where we put our stuff the first time we rode it, and I did not feel comfortable taking off my shoes and socks in front of a bunch of employees for some reason. And so anyways, we attempted to ride Hydra so I could go barefoot on it, but it was closed due to rain. And so anyways, after that disappointment, we headed to the relaxation zone to get some water. And so anyways, after that relaxation zone pit stop, we waited at Subway for the rain to stop and got a meal there while we were waiting too. And a little after we finished our meal, we got an announcement from the park saying that due to inclement weather, they were gonna close at 4:45 p.m., which is really freaking nuts, guys. This is the first time this ever happened to us, and it was really disappointing. And so anyways, and there was a crazy part to this too. When we exited the park, we waited under the trees for my dad to come pick me up, but Evie didn't have to walk that far because he was parked like in an up close spot in the parking lot, but like we were waiting for my dad to pick me up, and we got even more soaked while waiting in the trees, and so anyways, that basically concludes this review of August 7th, 2020 at Dorney Park. So let me sum this day up. It was eventful yet disappointing because I went barefoot on Talon, Dominator Red, Revolution, and Dominator Green, which was really funny. But the disappointing part about this day is that they ended up closing early due to rain. And so anyways, that concludes this review of the day. So reply to me your thoughts on this video, and make sure to stay tuned for more of those coming soon to Coaster Plus Music 19, and I will see you in the next.